Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Madness, I tell you. Welcome to one of those Murphy's Law kind of episodes where everything that can go wrong will go wrong, but I've got a firm grip on reality here. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. I'm Gonzo. Hi, how you doing? Big Daddy Gonzo, DJ Gonzo, Richard Saligny, who sells real estate, amongst other things. I'm having a lifelong identity crisis. But I'm a sports nut, and I'm a Miami sports nut, obviously. And here's our little show. Seated across from me, matriculating on the screen from, well, actually, he doesn't have to matriculate nowhere because he's not in this seat this week. That's his hand. But now he is
in the big chair.
He's jumped over into the big chair. Yes. And he has occupied the seat that's normally occupied by Mr. Johnny Audubon, who is, I'm going to say he's probably caught in a traffic jam on a Sunday morning in South Florida because there are so many snowbirds. Are there more this year than there have been in past years?
There's nowhere you can go right now and drive and not be stuck in some kind of traffic.
You know, I hate to be one of those creepy people that says that, I miss the pandemic, but man, it just, you know, it's, and I'm trying not to make your head look so wide. How's that look like?
It's hard to do, hard not to do.
I know.
It's a big
I'm trying to fix you while I'm talking here. Yeah. But that's one of the things that I really miss. If you can miss something about the pandemic, is the I-95 with 7 cars on it, and you could do 100 miles an hour past a cop, and the cop's gonna be like,
yeah, I'm not breathing on you.
Don't die, you know. So it was a lot of fun, and I miss it, but I don't miss the madness. It was a lot of fun because we didn't see snowbirds for 2 years. First 2 years I was in this building was magical, 50% capacity, tops.
Well, COVID will do that too.
Yeah.
It'll wreck a generation or two.
This is why we can't have nice things. But welcome my Canadian and New York and New Jersey friends, and you guys. Oh, I could go on for forever. But we got football and a lot of football.
It is Sunday, so Sunday's a big day,
right?
We got the NFL.
Hey, did you take the under on Thursday night?
I did not take the under on Thursday night. I didn't buy into the trap.
Wait. What was that line again?
I have no idea,
but I
do know
30.
The over-under was, I think it was 11. 30.
30.5.
Yeah, 2 bad teams. One with a much better record, but obviously just as bad. The only team in NFL history to lose 2 consecutive games to 2-win teams at that point in the season. Both of those happen to also come at home. Take a look at the wall. You may not see those guys up there next week. We may be setting a little fire to some of the stuff that we've accumulated over the years.
Relax.
I've been saying it for, 3-4 years now?
Right.
Regime change.
Yes.
You don't get the quarterback right. You don't get the coach right.
You've been saying this since back in West Boca.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, but you just won a Super Bowl. Yeah, but I hate him. It's like
the writing's on the wall at this point. It's a lot of noise. I mean, there's more people right now starting to shift the blame towards Tomlin and towards the organization, especially after letting Canada go. That was a scapegoat move, right? Hire the OC.
But they've been moving the ball. But their problem has been scoring.
No, they've been bad. Trubisky's a bad backup. Some teams have good backups. We don't even have a good backup.
Mike White.
They were actually chanting Mason Rudolph's name in the stadium on Thursday.
Were they doing it with the clap? With the Mason Rudolph.
First of
No.
all, that's
Or
probably
Rudolph.
the only time Mason Rudolph's ever been.
It could have been a Christmas chant for
called
Rudolph
into
the
a game.
Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah. So anyway, Thursday night came and went. Thank God we have a different slate of games today, which
you
much
go.
better teams. So why don't we just get to it? Oh, well,
What, are you going to go right to the games? We're not
No.
going to do Kick Rocks,
We-
Rock Solid?
I got a whole
Look at
segment on this
I
thing.
give the guy the mic for 30 seconds, and he's starting to change the segments on me.
I panicked. No.
Oh, my God.
Something that I'd like to discuss. We talked about it pre-show. Let's get it going.
Okay, well, Kick Rocks or Rock Solid? Is that what you're trying to say?
Put it up. Let's see what it
Because,
looks like.
You got to do it, man.
There's-
It's a thing, okay? But you either got to Kick Rocks or it's Rock Solid. I mean, it's one or the other.
That's my
That's
Charlie
the
Brown
graphic
kicking it right
magic
there. Charlie
here.
Brown? Charlie Brown? No, not
Yes.
Charlie Brown.
No, that's not Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown with the World War I helmet. No?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, that's the guy from the 1930s team who's mad at the football because nobody knew how to catch the ball back there and back in the day.
Yeah, they didn't even have tees back then. It looks like
Yeah.
he just set it in
Okay,
the
just
dirt.
set it on the ground
He
and
just
kick
made
it.
himself a little gopher hole and set it right on
Like
top.
we did when we were kids.
Ah,
we
same
did a little
thing.
divot.
Nobody can afford a tee when I was 8 years old. So.
Right.
Anyway,
So
all right.
There's a lot of noise going on in the NFL.
Yeah, every year. All right. It seems like there's people looking for stories. Well, the story this year was, and continues to be through the year, bad referee play, right? I can't turn on anything on Instagram, Facebook, sports related, where it's not some conspiracy about the refs on the take and about, who's got favoritisms. in terms
Why do
of
we
the
pay
calls.
Goodell $40 million a year then?
It's insane. To me, I've always been on the side where, yeah, you're going to have a few bad apples from time to time, but institutional cheating with something this large, I just don't see it. But that being said, now let's get to the injuries in the NFL. The quarterback position. Every week we're talking about a different guy starting behind the center. Not just the quarterbacks, the
Knock
running
wood.
backs, the receivers. I mean, the whole dynamic of everybody's afraid of who's starting this week. Okay, what else? You have the other constraints. You got the freak stories, the guys that come out of nowhere, teams that outperform or underperform. This is the reality of the NFL today. When everybody sat back in July, getting excited for the season, August, we start to make our predictions. We had pretty much everything on par with what it is right now. Look at the AFC East, the Dolphins and the Bills, okay, pretty much fighting for a division title. That's what we thought was going to happen. Go down to the AFC North, Baltimore, best record, the other two teams chasing. Now, the Burrow injury with Cincinnati is a big deal. That's going to affect their outcome. But the Steelers were considered a playoff team.
Well, aren't you impressed with the way Browning adjusted? He got a week of practice under him. All of a
Looked
sudden,
like
it's like Joe Who and
Joe
Cincinnati.
Montana was that last week.
Right.
Yeah. Go down a little bit. You got the AFC South. Jacksonville's winning that division. You thought that was going to be the case. AFC West, it's the Chiefs. So where are we different so far? Let's go to the NFC. NFC East. You got the Cowboys and the Eagles fighting for a top spot. We all saw that coming. The NFC North, everybody was on the Lions as their darling this year. That's happening. The NFC South, who cares? Nobody cared then. Nobody cares now. Same thing, same story. And in the West, you got the Niners. So everybody just chill, right? The NFL is doing just fine. We all kind of
Chill
had a
the F
handle
out.
on what's going on. I mean, not that we're rocket scientists here, not that we're all these bold predictors and we get everything
I'm a
right.
genius.
We don't get everything right, but it looks like we got a good part of it right, at least to this point. So not to dismiss the other things, the injuries are real. I mean, they affect us on our fantasy teams. They affect us on our DFS lineups, opening up value. We've talked about all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But in terms of the reality of the NFL right now, I think it's going to be just okay,
Well, let's address the refereeing first. The officiating, probably over the last 10 to 12 years, has been sliding. It's been sliding. Didn't they added an extra official before COVID, like 2018, 2019?
I know they added replay officials
Right,
too.
I know that.
And they've added also just the technology is better now than it's ever been to pick up on these things.
That's what you're going to have to see happen there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen with all professional sports. We already have the integration of instant replay. Well, now you're going to have 380 cameras, high definition, 360-degree coverage, digital, and everything is going to be able to play back in that three-dimensional playback. It's gonna come, and it's gonna come in a matter of 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and you're going to be able to I love using the term voir dire. You're going to be able to comb over every play, between each play, for any inequities. The slippery slope that we're really, really worried about going down is totally automating. Because then you've got holding on every play. You can have a myriad of penalties against a defensive back or a linebacker for touching a wide receiver because of the technicality of the rules. So you're going to need the human judgment element a little bit. In other words, that let them play mentality. It's the same with basketball, same with hockey. Yeah. Okay, playoff hockey and cup hockey is totally different than November, December hockey.
Yeah, NBA,
totally
same
different.
thing. Playoffs, the referees tend
right.
to, they use the term swallow the whistle.
Right.
They let things go a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can call penalty. Football, it's football. Okay, it's contact sport. Guys being pulled, tugged, pushed, stepped on, dragged, all kinds of things.
Right, but I still see the NFL being able to refine the process, the technical and human process, the integrated process like that. They're going to be able to refine it a little more, just a little more. What they're going to need to do, and I've been saying this for years, they have to alter their offensive holding penalty or their standard for offensive holding. Right now, the standard is you can grab inside the shoulder pads, inside the numbers, but you can't grab outside the numbers. You know what? Take it all off the plate. Put holding on the plate for everybody, with the exception of the DBs, of course, because once again, flag. So let everybody hold. It doesn't matter. Tackle the friggin' guy. So you have to break a tackle now to get to the quarterback. Okay? You want more scoring? I think that'll have more scoring. It also make the games faster. You take away all the holding penalties that you see from every offensive holding, whether it be from a blocker or an offensive lineman, either a skill position blocker or an offensive lineman, whatever. Take it all off the table and watch how fast the games. I bet the games get 10 to 12 minutes faster on average.
Yeah,
overall, it's ridiculous.
I mean, this is going a little bit sideways in terms of we're looking at just picking on the refs. The only thing I would change for the referees, I think, right now, other than training them better, getting them a little bit younger, that's important. It's a physical game for them too. I mean,
True.
These guys are very physical.
True.
Have to be in good shape. I think that limitations can keep them from seeing certain things maybe that they're not able to see.
True.
It's the obvious mistakes that are being made that don't help, that make people think that, well, I saw it. How come a trained guy that does it for a living couldn't see it? So your mind tends to go in the direction of, well, he's cheating. Well, he's on the take. Well, Vegas is making phone calls and all this other stuff. Where, again, are there bad seeds? Yes. Do guys have personal biases? Yes. And do these things affect decisions on the field? Yes.
Unfortunately.
But I don't think it's enough to move the needle. I don't think it's a narrative. I don't think it's the norm. I do think that, again, just making these guys better trained, putting them in better positions, using the technology available, I think you can make it better. And that's all I'm looking for. Yeah, that's all we're looking for. Make it a little better, or a little more consistent.
I would tweak the rules, though. I would tweak the rules. Here's another stupid rule that I would get rid of: putting your body weight on the quarterback. Okay, you need to take that away unless it's blatant where you're on the quarterback and you're digging the shoulder.
They're doing that so you can't drive the quarterback
Right.
into the ground,
Right.
and I'm okay with that too. That's not a good penalty. I mean, you can really hurt a guy.
I like tackling.
Well, first of all, the quarterback is vulnerable, normally when getting hit.
Right.
It's not like he's preparing for the hit. He's initiating the contact. He's the one that becomes, I don't want to use the term, the victim.
Right.
But he is the lesser of the aggressor in the tackle.
Right.
Which means he's defenseless. That's why they use that term defenseless.
Right.
And the quarterback in those positions is the most defenseless against usually a very larger man that is wanting to hurt you. So I just don't think, especially we talk about the injuries.
I've been one of those guys.
Again, you could tackle a guy and not hurt him, and tackle him hard and still follow the rules and not, worry about driving somebody's sternum into the turf. I don't know. It's just not for me.
Case in point, Tua Tagovailoa versus the Cincinnati Bengals. That guy, spinning suplexed him.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like a WWE finishing move onto his head.
Yeah, and
legit knocked him out of the game for, a month
It's people's careers you're messing with.
in their lives.
It's just not. There's no call for that, and these guys know that. It's not like this is what they do. We assume that these mistakes that are made by the officials, by the players, that we're like, it's obvious to the layman. We're laymen. We're fans. We're not.
Right.
We're not out there practicing every day like these guys are. This is not our lives. These guys know the roles. They know what to do, what not to do. But yet, still, some of them in those moments, they just make poor choices.
They drop the
And
rock.
It's a penalty and it's finable, and they should probably be suspended as well. In an egregious hit like that, especially the one you're talking about. So
No flag.
yeah,
No flag, no fine, no nothing. Knocked a starting quarterback, a rising star,
Yeah.
out of the game. Nothing. That's it. NFL's fixed. All right. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Thanks for watching. We're out.
imagine how I had this discussion with John last night. We were on a little Go Live that you guys can go back. And
John,
catch if
where
you
the hell
want.
are you?
I haven't called either, but and that's one of the things that John is on the side where he thinks that the NFL has got a little bit of a script going. And I'm not going to put words in his mouth and try and pick on John here, but my stance is that I just think the pot is big, and if you had these sorts of things on the regular happening, that eventually in today's society with information the way it's out there so quickly and there's so many leaks and whistleblowers and all these other things, if somebody would know. And imagine if we found out, we woke up tomorrow, for instance, Monday morning analysis, headline all the sports, NFL is rigged.
I'd lose my mind.
Everybody, it's such a part of our culture and our history and importance and relationships and everything that it would be like losing a family member, right? I mean, probably worse, depending on the family member. But no, I just don't see it. Again,
Cousin Larry.
yeah,
Screw that guy.
Individual instances, yes. Certain directional decisions by individuals, maybe referees, maybe even players, yes. But systemic, no, absolutely not. A problem, no, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I just don't feel like that the powers to be that do make the rational decisions would allow it to happen, would sign off on something like that. When everybody is just so, the fruit tree from the NFL is just so massive, it would just affect everybody.
Wasn't there, somebody came out and had a press conference and said that an over-emotional referee, was it Dane Lillard that got thrown out of a game this week? And he came on and talked about an over-emotional referee. Now, let me tell you, NBA referees, I kick them all out.
They're in it to win it, those guys. They
Kick them all out.
It's time
restart it.
Yeah.
I mean,
They don't have a good history.
Don't mean to bring politics into it, but just like you should do with Washington D.C., kick them all out and restart it. Let's start off with all new people.
Yeah, nobody over 40. Get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of my yard.
Yeah, well, and even some of you guys that are around 35 for 40, you're a little squirrely, a little too much ego. I thought that that baseball, the MLB referees had egos, but those NBA referees, I think it's all the running they have to do.
Well,
It makes them cranky.
I mean, again, never been a referee or an umpire. I've coached, been around them.
I've reffed football and I have umpired Little League baseball, and I encouraged both sides, both bleachers. I said, give it to me all day. I can take it all day. They laughed, didn't say a word the whole time. Why? Because they knew. I love it. Come on, give it to me.
For me, it's more like these guys are.
No pressure.
If they do carry the ego, some of them, it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Again, they're looking at the athlete as being, the multi-million-dollar guy, and I'm out here making a good paycheck, but certainly not what this guy's making, but yet I can determine his outcome. So let's try. Type of thing. And I'm sure you do see that with some of the referees that are out there.
My favorites are the size mismatches. You get an NBA referee, a female NBA referee. She's for a woman, she is 5'10". She's 145 pounds of cut muscle. She's in shape. She's almost a world-class athlete. Sharp eyes, sharp mind. And there's this 6'9" behemoth towering over her. And she's just standing there just like, and chuck you. I mean, the smaller the referee, the little Italian guys,
the meaner they are.
I mean, just mean.
Imagine Joe Pesci as a referee. How great would that be?
What do you mean? What? You didn't like my call? What? It was insufficient for your standards? Is that what it was?
You saying I'm not holding?
Yeah. So what are you trying to do? You trying to imply that I have money on the game, sir?
My calls.
I'll have you know.
My calls amuse you. You think I'm
my calls
funny?
Amuse you? Am I like a clown?
Yeah.
So okay. So the NFL not fixed.
I don't think so.
The sky is not falling.
It is not.
For those of you mopes out there, by the way, with major market fandoms that are pissed off because you're just an afterthought right now. Sorry. It's also not a mediocre season. Okay, because you got people that are talking smack about it. Oh, it's a mediocre season. Oh, the level of play is off this year. Listen, just because both New York teams and Chicago are not competitive this year,
or any year,
they from time to time,
or any year,
and both LA teams don't have fan bases. I thought we were a tourist town. Wow. Wow.
They have the same problems we do, except for more so. There's a lot to do.
We have
in
a better
California.
fan base. We have a more consistent fan base.
Yeah, well, because your Dolphin fan base is rooted, within South Florida,
right,
culturally rooted,
right.
In California, there's been so many sports teams that have taken over that sort of title as being the team. And this is not just pro sports.
Right.
You look at the college landscape in California, and it's just as popular in certain sections. UCLA and USC and all these different teams in college football. Then you even look at basketball, the Lakers.
Listen, you want a smart team swap? Okay? Swap the Raiders for the Chargers. Okay? Put the Chargers in Las Vegas. Put the Raiders back in Los Angeles. You will see a blackout every friggin' game, every home game. There will be no road fans getting in there. Okay, LA is Raider happy. They're Raider crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
that did hurt
they are
them.
huge with the Mexican American crowd. The Mexican Americans love them. Okay, the same way that you have actual Mexican Americans love the Cowboys. You know, Cowboys in Mexico City. You look in that crowd, and there's like four fans from the other team, and it's all, Cowboys. So.
Drinking Modelo's.
Oh yeah,
and
tearing them up.
Yeah.
So I like Modelo.
It's
I like
okay.
Modelo Negro.
Modelo
Me gusto.
Light. I've had a light. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you put the Raiders back in Los Angeles, and it'll be a blackout every game. It will. It really will. So these major markets, you got a lot of very vocal people, a lot of very vocal fans that are, no, it's mediocre, and it's not mediocre. It's just you're not in it. You're not competitive. Sorry. All right. What's the next thing that can kick rocks?
I think we're good.
I mean, rock solid.
I think we're good. I think we spelled it out.
Okay.
Go to break, come back, talk some games, talk some DFS.
I was going to say, I can't talk any more smack. Okay. So, let's fire up a break. We'll be back with the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk and our Core 4 next week. Or no, games.
Core 4, everything. DFS, let's go.
This is a professional production.
Talk about the Cowboys. Let's go.
Break. John, where'd you go, John? John, hello,
Where are you,
John.
buddy? Where are you?
All right, so we're back from break, and we're just zipping right along here. It's fun when it's just the two of us, and we don't have four people that all have opinions and are smart and funny, and we miss you guys. What's happened to Andrew? Is he just like stuck in retail hell now? Is that what's going on with him?
Yeah. They came out with a new shirt size. It's the schmedium.
The schmedium.
And ever since they've introduced that shirt, I can't even get out my own jokes. It's he's been quite busy. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Yeah. It's tough to fold the schmedium. Usually it sleeves in on the shirts, tuck one, roll. No, the schmedium is a whole different tucking technique that he's probably in class right now, as a matter of fact, trying to get that nailed down.
Oh, I wear a 7 extra medium.
Interesting.
It's an extra medium.
Yeah.
It's a medium 7 times.
Yeah. I've lost some weight, so I'm I'm an LX. I'm the Roman numeral before the X. So I'm like an LX2 schmedium. Schmedium. Yeah.
Why do you have to complicate it? It's not all physics. Let's get down to the real nitty gritty. We got a slate of games, but I mean, it's a pretty healthy slate of games. But we've got it down to a few that we really think that you're really going to be interested in. That's going to be good money value.
Yeah.
And
DFS magic
smart
too.
plays. No, DFS is coming on the
No, but I'm saying is these games are going to involve
yes,
high end guys
a lot,
because we're chasing points, we're chasing opportunity, we're chasing targets. So
league, DFS,
Yeah.
these aren't your core four, mind you. Those are coming up after the next break.
Nope. But we're going to talk about some players in certain games, certain spots, and stuff like that. So
zipping right along, let them have it.
One of the popular games I'm hoping is popular today, at least from my perspective, in terms of points and such, I did some analysis on, is Denver and the Chargers. Chargers are really struggling. They got that ugly 6-0 game on their record a few weeks ago in New England. And Denver was the story up until a loss last week. They had pulled off 5 wins in a row. They got a 70-burger hung on them a few weeks back for the Dolphins, and we thought they were left for dead. And then they went on a 5-game win streak. This game today, just some defensive stats. Both teams are 30th and 32nd, respectively, in yards allowed.
Lovely.
Okay. They're not stopping anybody.
Take the over.
And in terms of something I found
Way over.
on the weekend, I'm always looking at different metrics, different sites are using different gradings and stuff like that. Well, I found one site that focuses on just power ratings. Now, again, power being strong, ratings being assessment, you're looking at how strong the teams are. Pretty simple. They broke it down into maybe about 12 different subcategories on the road, at home, also. So I went through and pulled out a couple of the important ones that I looked at. And for instance, power rating overall over the last 6 weeks, Denver's 5th best in the league, and the Chargers are 9th best in the league. So this is what this tells me, that both teams are good offensively. Both teams can't stop anybody. Both teams are playing really well. So if they're so bad defensively, how are they able to obtain such a good overall rating? Well, they're doing it clearly on the offensive side. So what I'm doing is looking in between the numbers in this particular game and suggesting that, one, it's going to be high scoring, more so than the total suggests. I think the total comes in at 43 or 44. But I mean, like maybe into the 30s for both teams. So from a DFS perspective, certainly if you've got pieces for your season long, and these guys are your usually start sits. I think Keenan Allen's playing this week as well. He's coming back.
And he'll get 17 targets.
Yeah, so to me, I think a little under the radar is both these quarterbacks from a DFS perspective, but certainly pieces in both this game. I like Sutton today in this game. I definitely like both quarterbacks in this game. Keenan Allen, obviously, we know when he's on the field, he draws a lot of attention. He's a 12 to 15 target type guy. So a lot of points in this game, I feel. I think this is one of the games that if you've got opportunities to take some shots in, this is your game.
It's going to be a shootout. There's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, even with the improved play by the Broncos and their defense, let's face it, Patrick Surtain Jr., the second, after Tyreek Hill lit him up repeatedly, they took turns on him. They took him off Tyreek and then put him on Waddle, and then Waddle lit him up. So other than that bad game, that bad day at the office, young man has stepped up steadily as the season has progressed and taken over as a real leader. Even in the face of trade rumors, he stepped up. And so that defense is much improved, but they're very short on really quality, especially in that front seven, quality players. So that tells me there's going to be a lot of underneath stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff away from Surtain. Okay, and teams have been finding ways to matriculate. It's those turnovers. They've been living and dying off of turnovers. So, whatever. What's the line on? Do you know what the line is?
I don't.
Take the over.
40. I think 43.5 or 44 was the total.
I still like the over.
I do like the over.
I still like the over.
Yeah,
there's going to be and a lot of points to be had there. So, I mean, when you break down, I mean, you like the quarterbacks, you like, but what about any of the running games? I mean, the running games aren't going to get any traction.
Eckler, they just made a statement today that they're going to be cutting back his workload. You're going to see more Joshua Kelly. The other side, Javonte Williams has been back a few weeks now. Again, it's not so much a timeshare, but they use him a lot out of the backfield. Again, both teams just put up a ton of yards, and neither team is really able to stop the other. So, again, this to me is just a really positive matchup. Points, yardage, all that stuff.
It'll all come down to turnovers.
It could. I mean, in terms of the decision for the game and winning and losing, I'm not going to pick a side necessarily, but I do like, obviously going over in this total. So,
did that come on your phone or my phone, or was that both our phones? Did we get an Amber Alert?
No, John. He's alive. John's alive.
We got a John Alert.
John, yo, I slept right through my alarm, bro, with a lot of exclamation points. So my message to John is, buddy, we miss you. We wish you were here.
Sure you did.
And next week you're getting a phone call, or a 2 phone calls, or 3, maybe more. Not sure. But
was it box wine, or was it the wine with the screw top?
Good point.
That's a real good question.
Good point.
Plastic bottle, screw top wine, or was it box wine?
I think the third Sunday or Saturday of the month for John is box wine night.
Box.
So yeah. So
okay.
I'm
Well,
pretty
at
sure.
least he keeps it classy. It's not the plastic bottle with the screw top.
Box wine. So all right, we got some more games, guys. One of the other big games of the weekend.
Tell them to jump on the internet and pad our viewing numbers. How about that, huh, Johnny? Huh?
He's probably listening.
Watch.
The Chiefs and the Bills.
Pew pew pew.
What are we doing with this game?
I listen. I have been hating on Gabe Davis. Okay, for 7-8 weeks now. Okay, because he's had 2 good games all year. Two good games all year. But this is one game that I circled on the calendar that I knew that Gabe Davis, and it's like in 3 matchups that Gabe has played against him, he's had good games, good game. I mean, an epic game he had in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've started Gabe. If you want to say sit him, start him. I started Gabe Davis. I'm nervous, but I started him.
I like it.
Yeah, give me all kinds of Buffalo Bills players.
Yeah, I feel like this is another game
that's hard for me to say.
I know.
I got like a little aftertaste in my mouth.
I think this is another game where you want to get some pieces, fantasy-wise, in this game. You mentioned Gabe Davis. I think Cook is going to have a big day. I think the other side, you got Rashid Rice, who's the last couple of games has been a factor. Kelsey, obviously, is someone that you're going to have to contend with, and obviously Mahomes. But this is what I will say is that I don't think we're looking at either of these teams the same as what we may have thought they would have looked at to this point in the year. Okay, so I'm reassessing these 2 teams right now for who they are right now. And
listen, if I got the news of this, okay, in August about how things would be now, okay, my face would be, okay, and then my face would be.
Yeah, well, you can go back to a few clips of me talking about where I thought the Bills would finish this year. But regardless of that, I like the Bills today, and this is my reasoning. I think the Bills know who they are. The Bills have lost some tough games. The Bills have looked really good at times. Their defense has let them down at times. Allen, with his turnovers, is still somewhat of an issue from time to time. more so the timing of them this year, I think, has been the bigger story. But I feel if you're lining up weapons to weapons, I like Josh Allen right now compared to Patrick Mahomes. Just for the simple, I'm not saying he's a better quarterback, but I'm saying in today, week 14, I think it's week 14, right? Or week 14, 15, whatever the hell it is. The way the teams are set up, Allen has options. He can run the football and beat you still. He can hit one of those two receivers, obviously Diggs or Smith, who have had good games against, or Davis, who have had good games against him.
Don't forget
previously.
the Shaheed kid who can run a 4.2 40 for crying out loud.
You also have a good tight end in Kincaid on the other side. My point is if you're asking, if you had to tell me which quarterback is going to be able to make more bigger plays today,
Mo bigger.
I'm going to say it's going to be Josh Allen, just because of what you've seen, just because of the talent they have.
Sense of urgency.
That too, but I mean, who's making the big play on Kansas City's side? You're counting on Kelsey? Fine. He is still probably the best offensive weapon on the field. Maybe. I don't know. He's banged up. All you hear now from him is retirement, his brother, retirement. I think the writing's on the wall here. He knows it too.
All right. Wait. Time out. Can I predict something for you for next year? For the preseason next year?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
the big announcement's going to be that Kelsey's going to retire. Both Kelseys are going to retire. Both of them. They may even make the announcement together. Okay? Both Kelseys are going to retire. Okay? One will wait until the middle of training camp to come back, and that'll be Travis. Okay? But both Kelseys are going to retire. Okay? Everybody thought that, the elder Kelsey was going to be retiring before this year. Okay, but he's definitely going to retire after this year, especially if they get him another ring.
He's got a lot of endorsements. He's got plenty of money. And
Exactly.
He's got Taylor, so it's
and
moving on.
he doesn't need the glitz like his brother.
Yeah.
His brother likes the swag. He likes the glitz. He's a little younger and an attention whore. But Travis Kelsey will take off. He will be retired like Gronkowski retired. Okay, but there's going to be crying. People are going to be, please come back, please come back. And then Mahomes will say, please come back, please come back. And he'll wait until about the second preseason game, maybe a little before the third one, so he can get in and get some practices and get in shape. Well, he'll stay in shape. He'll run. He'll jog. He'll have Taylor Swift. She'll be pretty good to keep in shape on, don't you think? Was that sexist? Sorry. Thought it was sexy. And he'll come back, and then that will be his last year, next year. Okay. So that factor right there is going to come into play. But switching over to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think talent-wise right now, line them up, and you're looking, and they've still been looking for somebody other than Kelsey on the offensive side for KC to step up. Now, no Pacheco today, so they're sliding McKinnon a little more into the starting role. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be the actual lead back today, because McKinnon's not really a between the tackles guy. He's the third down pass receiving guy.
That kid got shunted to the bench real quick, didn't he?
Now, I will say this about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Everybody's wannabe darling. For several years, we were chasing him in fantasy. He typically has one or two games a year where you're like, oh, wow, Clyde Helaire, he's back, right? And he's like, oh, my, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, whatever. Sort of kind of like how I go on a side note here is Odell Beckham today. We'll talk about him too. But, the guy's like, where's he been? How come he can step in and fill in and do? Watch out for Clyde Edwards-Helaire today being a part of that Chiefs attack or whatever it is, because they are looking for somebody to take the reins.
No, I don't doubt it one bit. I mean, let's remember the kid's pedigree. Okay, he won a natty at LSU. Mm-hmm. He was a big reason why. He was Joe Burrow's security blanket. Okay, that quick little turnaround and dump off pass. Burrow would hit him with one of those when they were at LSU about 3 or 4 times a game, and he would take it to the house. Yeah. And sometimes that was from the 20-yard line. So, and he was just, gone.
Yeah,
So,
but he's never sustained in the NFL. And again, maybe it's the Chiefs too, because again, you've looked at their running backs. They've had a lot of guys come in and out of that back 12 since
no
Andy
such
Reid's
thing
been
as
there.
a lead back in Kansas City.
Now, I
There's
guess
no
now when you have
lead.
Mahomes
No.
too, it makes a lot of sense. But still,
Right.
I kind of feel like they would be better off served if they had a better run approach overall. Take a little pressure off the lack of weapons, a little pressure off Mahomes. Certainly Kelsey, like we talked about, but. Anyway, I'm on the Bills in this game today, just again, because I think if it comes down to a play or two, I just feel more confident that the Bills are the ones that can make that play or two in this game.
Well, how about this one for the Bills? I've already used sense of urgency. Okay. Well, how about this one? Win or die. Existential threat. Your season's over. You're 6-6. You go 6-7. I think if the Dolphins win and the Bills lose, the Dolphins immediately clinch the AFC East. I think that's the clincher.
I'm not sure.
I think the magic number is 2.
Maybe it is. There's a few.
Or maybe the magic number is 3. I don't know. But if
They've
it's
got
2,
a 3-game lead on them now. That would
Right.
go to 4-game, and they do hold the tiebreaker. But they have to play them one more time, don't they? So that game will matter. But anyway, if
and you think they're going to win out?
listen, they're not going to pick up 4 games with 5 to go. So it's not going to happen. Anyway, yes, you're right. It's a must-win.
And by the way, neither of us are on the Sean McDermott nonsense. Okay, so he's the guy is a respected head coach, and from all indications he's a good guy. All right, in all indications he's a reputable individual. For a snide comment he made 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's over. It's
on
just
social
overstated.
media. It's
One
just
more
stop
comment
it.
on this game.
Yeah.
Even
Back
if
to
the,
football.
Even if the Bills do win this game, it doesn't change their season, in my opinion. Honestly, I
Yeah,
just think it's more of.
But 7-6 is better than 6-7.
No. It changes the trajectory potentially, but I think ultimately, like I've stated from the beginning, I think they're not a playoff team. I think the hole has just gotten too big. But
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
think in this spot, and it's a little bit of an indictment on the Chiefs as to who they are. That the Bills, even though they win this game, it doesn't make the. I don't think it moves the needle for either team, just because of where the teams are right now during the year, and for the simple fact that I don't have any confidence in the Bills week to week. I can see them winning this game, getting up, playing well, outplaying the Chiefs.
We'll be amused either way.
But I can see them shit in the bed next week just the same. So that's how I feel about them. All right, we got another one.
I'm sorry. The axiom "shit the bed" just makes me giggle.
It does.
Every
It's funny.
time.
It's
Just
fun.
Ew and.
And nobody wants to shit the bed.
Okay, so
So
go
yeah,
ahead,
I mean,
next game.
you shit the bed. That's
Sorry,
bad.
sorry. Juvenile moment. Trained professionals. We're adults here. I'm mature.
Barely. I mean, there's a few other games that are really, really good today. For me, everybody's talking about Cowboys Eagles, and obviously it makes sense. 2 teams fighting in the same division. Everybody's up the Cowboys' ass right now based on how they're playing the last few weeks.
28-24 Cowboys.
I am going to be one of the few people that's on Philly's side this week.
They're at home.
Yeah. No. This is
They're in Dallas.
This is in Dallas.
Oh, you're going to lose.
Well, now hold on a second. I'm not saying Philly is going to win this game because I do think that
They're going to bring in the good referees.
eventually Dallas is going to get it right for a longer period of time than they ever had. How far that takes them this year, I don't know.
Philly owes the universe 10 penalties.
But the way this is lining up, and Philly's been on such a tough, brutal schedule stretch. They lost the first one of those games last week. This is just another tough game. It's on the road. It's in Dallas. What is the line? I thought I saw 2.5 or 3.
Yikes.
Dallas is favored.
Yeah.
Man, give me a 1-point game, and I'll take the points with Philly in this one.
Here's what's amazing. Are we actually poo-pooing a 10-2 team? Okay, a 10-2 team. We're thinking that they're ready for a big losing streak slide. Sure, if they lose this, they go 10-3. Sure, they'll be tied with the Cowboys for the division lead. Okay, another really good team. Okay, but we really don't need to give all of this sympathy and have all this doom and gloom prediction. They're 10-2. Okay, I mean, listen. Refereeing inequities aside, which skewed the game against the Dolphins, but they're good. Okay, they were good before they played the Dolphins. They were good after they played the Dolphins. I don't let my fandom cloud my perception of a team. They're a really freaking good team. Okay, they're a Super Bowl contender.
They have talent enough to be in that discussion.
Sure.
But I don't think.
Well, why is everybody moping so much? Get over it.
Yeah, it's a week-to-week league. We talk about it all the time. You have to look at the whole picture. It's like Dallas and Philly are certainly the cream in that division. One of those two teams will win that division. Currently, the Philly has the lead in that division. Even if they lose, they've played them once before at home. Didn't they, Philly, early in the year and beat them, one of their wins? I don't think they're twice on the schedule still. But either way.
They are twice on the schedule, and yes, they did beat them.
Okay, so they're 1-1 in that. So it comes down to tiebreakers. Listen, my money's on Philly here today in the game and for the rest of the season. You look at the narrative they're pushing with the Cowboys, and obviously Dak is playing at an MVP level. He's my MVP right now. But, again, the competition hasn't been that great at times, and those numbers could be a little inflated. Okay, we'll see. We'll see today. Although Philly's back-end defense is also one of those that's very suspect. They've been getting beat terribly week after week. That's the problem with this Philly team. So, advantage here, offense, Dallas, for sure. But I just, overall, coaching Philly, the talent, I just think Philly's an overall better team. It's closer than it's ever been.
I draw definitive parallels between the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. Okay, same narrative on both ends. Okay, quarterback's on a tear, still doubts. Everybody's still holding their breath and waiting for the game, the implosion game, while they continue to get better and more efficient, okay, and more confident within themselves. The same narrative about both teams. They haven't beaten a good team or a team with a winning record. Other similarities, really, really good defenses with playmakers on both ends, on both levels, the front seven and in the secondary, especially that secondary, the Miami secondary, with Javon Holland starting. Okay, talk about a luxury. We have Brandon Jones is the backup. He used to be the starter.
Yeah,
and he's a quality backup. I mean, he tried to kill poor Chris Baker, but anyway, it's a matter of this is the game that Dallas beats a good team, okay, beats a team with a winning record, okay, and it's going to be a higher scoring affair and a dogfight, and it's going to come down to a late touchdown, and I think that late touchdown is going to get scored by the Cowboys at home.
Devil's advocate.
Roar of the crowd.
What's the narrative if the Cowboys lose this game?
The same. Nothing changes.
Well, in terms of what?
Nothing changes.
People continue to say about how Dak can't win the big game, and about how the Cowboys can't beat a good team,
right?
And about how the Eagles are still the best team in the NFC outside of the Niners.
So what has changed from before the game?
Okay, so now I'll go to the other side. Dallas wins. Do they dispel that narrative?
Yes.
Completely.
Yes.
See, I don't feel that way.
Yes, they have the right to.
I feel like in this situation, because of how the season has played out to this point, we mentioned the Philly schedule, they're on the road. Again, you could look at this in entirety and go, well, Philadelphia had a good season. They got to this point. They got tired. They dipped a little bit. But when it counted, last 5-6 games, they got on a roll.
Right, which they did last year.
Same story, right? So, to me, I don't know. It has to be more. Dallas wins today. To me, it doesn't change the narrative on either side. It keeps it the exact same. Changing the narrative is winning playoff games in Dallas right now. It's not about beating Philadelphia week 14.
Listen, I see the narrative changing, and now here's the ironic thing. Once again, dragging it back to it's about the Dolphins, but dragging it back to Dolphins. And here's an even funnier thing, because that's a fickle thing about everybody in their opinion about who's a good team, and you didn't beat a team with a winning record. How about this? The Dolphins then turn around and meet in 3 weeks' time. They meet on Christmas Eve. Meet the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. They beat the Cowboys. Let's say the Cowboys are 11-3 at that time, or 11-4 at that time. Okay, that's a winning record. And how much you want to bet if and when the Dolphins beat them afterwards? But it's the Cowboys. It doesn't matter. Let's see if they beat Baltimore. Okay, they beat Baltimore. Okay, with, knowing Lamar Jackson, he's probably going to be hurt the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, so they're going to have Hundley. Hundley, who went to the Pro Bowl. But they had the backup quarterback in. It's like, whatever. Whatever. So the same goes for the Cowboys and the Cowboys fans in that narrative. It's just like, whatever. Okay, the Cowboys win, the narrative is busted, and the bandwagon goes nuts. Okay, and then you get to find out how big Cowboys Nation really is, because a lot of the Cowboys fans are quiet, but once you get them in the playoffs, and if God forbid they get to the NFC Championship game, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be pandemonium.
Well, the other side
San
of
Francisco
that
better keep winning.
Is if Dallas is really pushing that narrative, then people are going to be calling them Week 15 champs.
Sure.
So what the hell does that mean? It doesn't mean a damn thing.
Sure, but let me tell you what, San Francisco better keep winning, because if they've got to go to Dallas, that's the only chance that Dallas has of beating them. I mean, yeah, Dallas goes to San Francisco. No, there's no way they're going to win. No way in hell. But if San Francisco comes to Dallas, there's a lot better chance. A lot better chance. Significantly more.
All right.
All right.
Before we go to break, I just want to mention I did a little research just for the betting side of things, because we'll come back and just do some DFS. But we talked about it before. Just throwing it out there, some numbers for the bettors. The under this year, 54% of the time.
Woohoo!
Okay, 190 and 168. 190 unders, 168 overs. That's 54% to the under this year. That's pretty impressive.
There's a lot of money in that 4%.
What we generally chase, because again, this is how our minds are programmed in terms of fantasy, is to chase numbers, chase production, chase guys' touchdowns and points, all this stuff, right? That's the exciting thing. That's what we're trying to accomplish. But looks like we're chasing an uphill battle, because unders are telling me that there's less scoring, there's less points, there's less production, there's better defenses, there's more ball control, those sorts of things that don't lend themselves to fantasy production. So maybe we need to take a little bit of a shift in terms of how we're looking at how we're picking our DFS players in terms of games that do offer safer, higher floors in some of the games we mentioned, like Denver and the Chargers. We figured that to be a higher scoring game. My point is that look at what the narrative is right now. Look at what the landscape is in the NFL, and scoring and overall production seems to be suppressed. I think our approach to DFS has to be the same thing. We need to stop inflating or predicting ceilings on these players, and instead try and predict the players that have the highest floors. I think that presents the most safety, and that brings us closer to that line where we're okay if there aren't big scores on any given weekend. We're still protected because we don't need our guy to go 4 and 5x maybe in a particular week to make money. He only needs to get his value, maybe 2 or 3x. That's my point. So it's just something to consider, something to monitor going forward. I think as the weather gets worse, I think you're going to see scores come back even further, certainly. Some of these games today we can talk about real quick. The only weather games I look at today as being an issue, and again, check lineups, check weather. The Rams-Ravens game, supposed to be windy and wet. Again, we're looking at wind being an issue. Jets in Houston, also a very windy game, but we don't expect much in that game to begin with.
Nope.
And then Jacksonville in Cleveland, another game where you have, although I think Lawrence is supposed to get the start today, they said. Somehow, I don't know how.
Breaking news, Trevor Lawrence declared active and starting today in Cleveland.
So you got a Jacksonville-Cleveland game, which, why are they even putting him on the field today? Even if he would have to be at 95% for me to put him on the field in that game today against Myles Garrett on a bum ankle. On a Cleveland defense that's as good as they are, minus who's not playing on the offensive side for Jacksonville? They're missing a receiver, too. I think it's Kirk. I think Christian Kirk's not playing today.
Really?
Yeah, because I heard that Zay Jones was getting a start.
I was going to say, Zay would be a good play.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to go take a look at that.
That's a weather game as well. So, again, that's my little speech on just keeping track of the over-unders. I know it's exciting to try and build to the over or get there, but maybe we should start looking at some of these unders.
Sure.
Start trying to go against what we feel like is.
Especially in the rain.
Yeah.
Well, let me, a little aside here. Is Trevor Lawrence a drama queen? I mean, I saw him be a drama queen in college. When he was with Clemson, he was a little prissy. He was a little dramatic.
I can tell you this.
Okay.
He did not get your traditional high ankle sprain and be a Superman player to come back in a week's time. Okay, that's not. I don't care what the science tells
He
you.
rolled it,
Yes,
sure,
yeah.
and it got pinned, and
Yeah.
it got. But you know what? I don't think his weight all came down on it.
Let's grade it.
It popped. It popped around real quick.
Now, is it when you say grade 1, that's worse than a grade 3, or grade 3 is worse than a grade 1?
I think it's the more minor of the injuries.
Well, let's say I think the grade, the higher the number, the worse it is, right? So
Right.
let's say he got a grade. They say grade 3 sprain is normally 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
I think he got a grade .256, which only puts you out for a day and a half. But that's how that chart works. And again, like you're saying, a little
the whole
wine,
thing
wine.
with the two guys carrying him down
Yeah,
the tunnel
it was
and
a
everything.
lot.
Oh my God! Oh,
Yeah.
bravo!
Yeah.
Oh, and wait, and the Oscar goes to
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Oh my God, the great comeback.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, were you going to do a who was it? Was it the Walt Frazier? Is it or no? Who was the big comeback with the New York Knicks? That guy. That's right. I don't even bother to remember. Anyway, okay, so we're going to take it to the break. I'm so disrespectful to it.
That's awesome.
I love my New York fans. You guys are great sport fans.
They're why
You're
we
great.
do it. The arguments, the
Bitching and
debates.
crying. I love it. I love it. How about that? Hey, how about that Ohtani not signing with the Yankees? All right, we're going to take a quick break here before I mentioned baseball. He could go off for an hour. We got to get to the core four right after this. Gonzo Radio. And we're back. So we got late breaking core four.
Well, first of all, John's alive. Did we mention that? We found him?
John
Okay.
the Audubon
We
is
found him.
alive. We
him.
have confirmed proof of life.
Yes.
He did not disappear.
Nope.
He did not get captured by the Trilateral Commission.
Nope.
Nobody whisked him away in the middle of the night for talking subversive crap on social media.
I thought maybe after our go live yesterday, he said something, or I said something, and they picked him up for.
I was gonna say the black van pulled up.
Yeah.
Yep. Bag over the head. Bye. No,
Yeah.
he's still around. And I'm gonna say Gabe Vincent's gonna have 7 rebounds,
At least, probably 3 assists.
14 points.
Yeah, at least that many.
You know,
Yeah.
and 10 of them will come in the fourth quarter because that's what he
Probably.
does.
Yeah, I hope the game stays competitive. Yeah.
Welcome to Miami Heat talk. All of a sudden,
No, I got John's core four.
welcome to the core four.
I'm going to guess that one of his inserts. First of all, he's got Josh Allen today. Okay, we spoke about the Bills.
Oh,
we
that
spoke
guy.
about them making plays, him having to make plays. If they win today, it's because of him, no
Captain
doubt.
Desperation.
Joe Mixon, who I also have in my core four, I'll get to, and he likes also Zach Moss, who is an opportunity play today, very popular. I think that's a good safe play in cash games. I think it's kind of like just a free square. But
Zach Moss, let me tell you something about Zach Moss. Okay, first of all, he's at the end of his rookie deal, which is the reason why he got traded away. And Zach Moss is now putting stuff on tape that is going to get him a big contract next year.
Yeah.
Whether it's with the Colts or not.
Yeah.
Who knows?
When he's had opportunities, he's played pretty well.
Yeah.
But John's other one, which was interesting, I tried to research him real quick, couldn't find what team he was on, was Gabe Vincent. And I don't think we're going to be putting him in our core four today. I think we're going to wait until the Heat play later on,
Right.
and put him in our
let's
starting five.
All right, so let's make it a reach. Let's say it's a guy named Gabe, and since he picked Allen, let's go ahead and go with Gabe Davis.
I believe that's the call.
Considering that we all tend to be of a similar mind. So Gabe Davis, maybe, possibly, maybe he could get a few rebounds. No, I told you, Gabe tears Kansas City up.
Yeah.
He just likes that red. I don't know. He just he sees that red and he goes crazy.
Yeah, there'll be some popular pieces in that game today, both sides. Obviously, I think Diggs will be popular. We talked about Gabe Davis being popular, Diggs being popular. The other side, I kind of like a little shot on Rashid Rice. The last couple of games, he's had his targets increase. He's caught a few balls. I think even a touchdown last week.
Rashid Rice.
His price is pretty suppressed. I think he comes in at about $5,400 on DK.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
So pretty cheap. All right, let me bang
I'll
out
take
my
advantage
core.
of it, but I don't understand
Here's
it.
my core four, and I wish Andrew was here. Hopefully he's listening. But I'm going to lead off today with a little Drake London, okay? Tampa's not a team that you can typically run on, but you can't throw on them.
Right.
And Drake London's averaging almost 16 points, fantasy points per game at home this year. So people are on Atlanta this week. They think Atlanta's the spot. This is another game, sleepy, with a little bit of a lower total. I think can kind of shoot out a little bit.
All right. Stick to the core four.
Yeah, Atlanta gets no pass rush. So I like pieces on the other side in that game, too. I like a little Mike Evans today. But okay.
You're drifting.
I know.
Drifting.
I'm just giving you players. I like Drake London today. I also like Joe Mixon today.
Taysom Hill out today.
Yeah, he's also out.
Tyler Higbee out today.
I like Mixon a large part because last week he got 6 catches in that game with what's his name in there, the backup quarterback who looked like Joe Montana. Give me 6 catches for Mixon today and whatever other volume he gets on the ground, and that's enough for me. This is a little, I don't say if it's a reach because not by talent, but just situation. People aren't talking about the Raiders, certainly with O'Connell as a quarterback. I like Devontae Adams today. I think he's a guy, they force feed him targets anyway.
Sure, why not?
Give me a 12 to 14 target game with Devontae Adams, and I'm in at that price as well.
And you like Hayden O'Connell, of course.
I do. I have him actually as my quarterback, not in my core four, though.
And I am here to say I sat here in early September and told you and you and you and you over there and the other 5 people that watch this podcast, I told you that O'Connell was going to end up being the starting quarterback because the kid's good.
Yeah.
His quality of play is good, and now it's only getting better with the reps. So
the team itself, since the coaching change, is moving in the right direction.
Sure.
They're leaning on Jacobs. He's 25-plus touches in 3 of the last 4 games. So they have a concept. They've got a couple of guys who are trying to see what they've got. Adams is clearly one of the best receivers still in football. So I'm on Adams today. My 4th guy in the core 4 is a guy that just puts it up every week in a plus matchup we talked about between Denver and the Chargers. I like Cortland Sutton today. He's also a 10-plus target guy in a game like this. And if he gets that and gets in the end zone,
he's been balling
Russell
out.
Wilson's still throwing the ball. They don't run it particularly well. I don't see a game script where this game's not competitive, so both teams are going to be moving the football.
Balling out.
Yeah, I just want some pieces in that game, so I've got Sutton as my other 4. So I've actually got 3 wide receivers this week. I've got London, Adams, and Sutton, and I'm going to throw Mixon in there. So paying up a little this week. I'm going to give you one cheap play because you're going to need it.
I like cheap plays.
Jonathan Mingo this week for Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. 10 targets, 8 targets last 2 weeks.
Right.
Again, new OC, new coaching direction since then. Push this kid the ball. They're going to have to score points somehow. They don't run the football, so he's going to get opportunity. He's 3,600 or 3,500.
When that change was made, when the coaching change was made and the OC change was made and all of that, I snagged that kid. You know, his projections were coming in at 6.5,
Yeah, low.
7.
Yeah.
Nobody cared,
Yeah.
whatever, rookie. And I said, you know, the kid was strong. He looked good. You looked at his 2 games that he got more than 4 targets. He produced.
He's really fast. He's athletic.
And he's been just better target share,
Yeah.
better everything. So
Yeah.
what I'm hoping is he's my secret weapon for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs? Yeah, the playoffs.
$3,500 on DK is his price tag.
So that might be a good play today.
Yeah, I think it's a really strong play.
Maybe.
And then his last 2 games, like I said, 10 targets, and then he had 7 targets, 7 targets.
If
7
you're out of
targets.
money, you know,
Yeah.
and nobody's going to be owning him. He's going to be really low ownership.
Yeah, last week he went 6 for 69.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You had a touchdown in there, and that is just a smash
Huge.
spot.
Yeah.
So, so that's my cheaper, and you're going to have to, like I said, because a few of the guys like Adams and Mixon sort of paid up for. So
All
you're
right,
going to
so
have to.
hang on. Let me take notes here. So. Let's see. Well, Mixon seems to be the common guy with you guys.
We do like
which
him.
I agree with because he's the workhorse that's making Browning's life easier.
Yes, I also have Zach Moss.
By the way, how about some props for Mr. Browning? A great job on Monday Night Football last week. Wow, good job by you, young
He
man.
played pretty well.
So we got Mixon on both. We got Davis. What else did we get? Mixon's both. Davis. I'm taking notes. You have you have Adams. You have 3 wide receivers there, right?
I went with London, Adams, and Sutton.
London, Adams, Sutton,
And the beauty with this lineup, I might as well just give it to you, is I was able to get Laporta in the tight end spot because I paid down for Mingo at 3,500.
Right, he was, and Johnny was Mixon, Davis, and who? I'm taking notes because guess what? I cashed.
Johnny was Allen, Davis, Mixon, and Moss.
Moss.
Yeah, so we have.
Zach.
So we both are on Moss. We're both on Mixon.
And we got a little for the cheapness. We got the kid. What's his face? Mingo.
Yeah,
Mingo,
Jonathan Mingo.
Mingo the Merciless. So there you have it, kids. See, wait. I'm smart. I took notes.
This
Look.
lineup I have O'Connell, Mixon, Moss, Adams, DJ Moore I also like today, Rashid Rice, Laporta, Mingo, and the Niners D.
Sure.
Let's get it on.
Okay. Well, there you go. Hopefully you guys took notes too. We're about out of gas and a hair over an hour, and other than Johnny not being here, it's amazing how fast this thing goes when there's only 2 of us, huh?
Yeah, I think last week we were just about the same. But we do miss Johnny. Wish he was here.
I know.
Yeah.
We do. I'm just being douchebag right now.
I feel good that I was on with him last night, so at least we had a little special.
Oh,
we had some bonding.
that's why.
We had some bonding last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little male bondage, huh?
So go back and watch that truth, because there was some good truth.
Truth
on that
bombs
show
on that one too?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, you tell them. Okay.
And by the way, real quick, my wife said I looked homeless this morning when I left the house.
What?
The way I was dressed, I didn't shave.
Shave your neck.
She said you look like a vagabond.
No. Vagabonds have like kaffirs and head dresses.
Maybe
and
it wasn't a vagabond.
Vagabonds, they.
She
no.
did. There was homeless in there somewhere. She said you look
vagrant.
homeless.
Vagrant.
Maybe there was too many.
You're a vagrant.
Maybe it was vagrant. You look homeless.
You're a vagrant.
So I love you and thanks.
And I look like a serial killer. But anyway, any parting shots? Anything? By the way, it's been very convenient that all these alien revelations are coming out all around the world now. Official stuff with governments like, oh yeah, we had them.
We got a body.
We got a body.
We got a plane.
We
Matter of fact, hold on a second. I got to get this call. It's Schmoofdo from Ezon. Hello, Schmoofdo. Yeah, how you doing, buddy? I'll be right there.
Bleep Blorp from Echelon 5.
Yeah, can you beam me up? Give me a half hour and just beam me up. Thanks. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's like how did we go from jets, military jets and airplanes and stuff that you can see on radar to stealth technology?
Interesting.
Got a little something in our pocket over here.
Highest bidder.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
We'll give you these 2 rocks and this body of water for that technology. Okay, you can have it. Good. Okay.
Exactly.
Give the
All right. So we're not going to drift into baseball. We're not going to drift into aliens. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to drift our butts outside, and I got to get started on my lineups, which I got a lot to work with. All right. Well, on behalf of myself and Dumaz and Andrew Lawson, who is toiling away in retail obscurity,
Schmediums.
With the Schmediums,
Yeah.
and John, where are you, John?
John,
Are
you're
still
getting
there,
picked.
John?
We're picking him up next week.
We're picking him up. I was going to say we're going to stop by with a van, a dark van. We're going to get a. Can you get like a black velvet bag, something that's breathable, not plastic this time?
I'm going to see Gino later. I'll
Don't
ask
kill
him.
him. We just want to put a bag over his head.
Gino's got stuff.
Okay, maybe a paper bag.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got a big head though. Make it a big one. All right. Well, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 11 a.m. here on the YouTubes and the Facebooks and on X, formerly Twitter. We actually got a feed going on over there. Hopefully somebody caught up on that too. So say goodbye.
See ya.
See ya, and we're out. Peace.